Hello, everyone. My name is Asha Mustafa, representing OpenMap Development Tanzania, a non-profit organization based in Tanzania. So we have been active working in open source technology for about 7 years now, since 2017. So we were born from humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, for those who knows it. So it all started with identifying flood-prone areas in the city of Dar es Salaam, which is a capital. Back then, it was the capital city of Tanzania, and it has been affected by flooding for almost 10 years. So, and the government was doing enough, I would say, but there is still a gap of who is affected and to what extent, and also what are the community perspectives when it comes to flooding and also the effects of flooding. So we started doing data collection back then, but on our way of doing data collections, some projects were introduced, such as innovating the river around the city to make sure that the flood is controlled. But those kind of projects takes time, almost 10 or 15 years, because I remember the first data we collected was back in 2015 when I was still a student. But till today, they are still in negotiations with the community around the river so that they can be reallocated before the innovation starts. So still during this time, community still face flood issues. So as organization, we say that since we have capability in open source technology, what can we do to make sure that community take ill actions and make sure they're safe before floods or reduce the impact of flooding? That's why we came with the title of ill action start with the local community. Because in our country, we have our slogan says, local people, local device, open knowledge. So we work directly with the local communities who knows the problem is. We use local devices that they all usually use, or we provide this open knowledge in order to create data that can solve the gap of data in the country. So, as I said, we did a pilot. We have done a lot of projects regarding flood-prone issues in Tanzania, but we did specific pilot that I'm going to present today that is on how community can anticipate flooding and prepare or do the anticipatory actions so that they'll make sure the areas are safe or reduce the impact of flooding. So this is a picture that shows how the floods affect our roads. And this is, we say, about less than 15 minutes rain in the city. So like most of the communication would shut down. And also this could be caused by either the infrastructure systems, but also, as I said, for example of this pilot we did in a city called Dar es Salaam, where almost 7% of the city is informal. So that being said means there's disconnection of either water channels, that means drains, also improper waste management system. So all this contributes to the flooding to the city. So why the ill action matters, it's because of the structure of the city itself, and also because of how the development goes. Would take a very, very long time to achieve the requirement of how the government wants the city to be. So by that time, how do communities survive? They will survive by taking air actions of the anticipation of the floodings due to the triggers that could be identified by the communities themselves, because they know exactly when it will flood and what locations will be affected. So a little bit of organization. As you said, it was founded by youth. Almost all of us were graduated from the university. And also these are the pillars that we work on for our organization. So apart from mapping projects, we also do some innovations like drone mapping trainings and capacity building on university students, where all of us, the root we come from. Also we do some data collection and analysis using open source tools, mostly specific. But sometimes we do pay paid source, especially for government works where they do not want their data to be open or exposed in other sources. So, as I mentioned earlier, this was some of the data that we collected before, shows how disconnected the drainage system are in the city. So, so obviously it shows this could be one of the contributions of the flooding, because water doesn't have a destination area that would go. So that means automatically the area would be flooded. And as you see the river itself, so water is not connected. So every time it rains, and also the area is informal, most people are affected. Most people who are affected, they are low income people who live in these locations. And also they have a terrifying story saying that a year has 12 months, and also floods happen only in 3 months. I think I can tolerate 3 months rather than reallocating myself to far away location, because all these people depends the activities. It's easy for them to move to the city center for their daily life activities. So they feel like they can tolerate flooding for a short time of period rather than being located. But with the training and the capacity building that we have been doing for the last 5 years, some of them have agreed with the government to be reallocated to safe locations. And some of them have agreed, like after the project will be completed of innovating the river, they'll be back with the how the apartments and everything that will be conducted or constructed around the area. So all these hazards has been caused by, these are the mapping that we have been doing. We have actually mapped all the drains across the city and find out how connective are they, and also other sources. So we found that one of the biggest challenge is the informal settlements, infrastructure, and waste management. So, and also as an organization, we do not have a capacity of saying, okay, so we're going to improvise the infrastructure and construct new, or we are going to construct new roads or provide waste trucks. But with data that the government didn't had, we said that we're going to bridge the gap of data so that the government could know exactly the targeted location that they can provide immediate help and take ill actions to support the community. That's where we chipped in helping. So, usually in ill action in our community, there is a system that we usually follow, and that is we get information from weather forecast, and then community disaster responders in the community would inform the communities about the flooding, and then local action would take actions like early warnings, like cleaning the drains around their houses, collect some wastes around their houses, or sometimes make sure their staffs are safe to the up locations so that before the rain starts. But there was a gap of who are the people affected, so that the local leaders could go directly to them and emphasize them to take action early. But also, where would the community go if the flooding happens? Which are the safest routes for the community to take if it floods? And also, the safe location zone that community could go. So there was a gap in data. That's why we decided to do a pilot, because we had so many data. In partnership with CartONG, organization based in France, we did a pilot to anticipate how ill actions can be solved using open source tools. So what we did community mapping, working directly with communities in groups, for them to understand how do they understand flooding and how do they perceive flooding, what actions do they take normally, and also what way do they use to survive after flooding. But also, so here we engaged communities in different age and also in different groups and sex in separate group discussions, so that we can hear perspectives without them fearing either having a discussion with their elderly or their moms at the same table. So if it's youth, it's only youth discussion, and if it's elderly, it's only elderly discussion. So we were able to get enough data that we were able to feed into the system that we used as a pilot. Also, we used the platform of OpenStreetMap platform that everyone knows. All data that was collected was fed into OpenStreetMap platform, because apart from the community mapping, we did two types of community mapping: the workshop mapping or roundtable mapping, and field mapping, where we trained communities who lives exactly in the location how to use their own smartphones to collect hotspot locations of floodings, drainage that are not connected, safe location routes, as well as evacuation areas that could be fed into the system that we created as a pilot. Using OpenStreetMap platform as a base map, we use the ESLI platform to create a dashboard that we feed all these informations connected to all data that we have been collected in the past year about flooding in the country, and also link it to be live, that community can feed into the dashboard directly in the field, reporting about the flood issues, so that the dashboard will be live. And this dashboard was directly connected to the system of, it's called the Salaam multi-agency emergency system. So this system was developed only for that region of Dar es Salaam to deal with flooding, to deal with emergency issues, where under that umbrella, the people like Red Cross, firefighters, ambulance, all these people are also trained, also for them to feed into the dashboard when they're taking ill actions to the community. So we train them, we train firefighters and ambulance people how to use mobile phones to collect data when they're responding to an emergency, especially tracking their routes, so that to understand, especially for example, for emergency responders, especially fire, for ambulances, sometimes it might take them a long time to reach to a location. And there was a data gap on why does it take them so long to reach the location, while they have an alarm that everyone should let them pass. So they were able to collect data that could feed into system to know where the locations that provide them challenges, and feed it directly to the system, to the dashboard, using ESRI platform. So how we learned the priority, as I said, we provided trainings to the first responders, to communities, to stakeholders, and to also field data collections. So all these people were part of the pilots to make sure that how could we collect data prior the disaster happens to our community, so that the dashboard, which is live, accessed by DarMAERT, and also this DarMAERT is under the government authority, so they can have access to data that they can improvise and make decisions based on the need to the community. So because why DarMAERT? It's because previously we collected data when we found that they're using that data in analog atlas paper system. So we said it would be useful for our pilot to create a dashboard. Now they can have it in computer and have live data collected every day, so that they can take early action. So the dashboard doesn't only provide information about flooding, but also other emergency issues, such as these, fires are happening in the communities, and also if there's an emergence of a certain disease in the community, the ambulance people would feed into the dashboard of where they have picked up the emergency persons, and also the routes that they've taken. The same apply to the firefighters. The same apply to the community, would provide information about the flooding to the locations. So all this type of the systems provides information regarding all disasters. And the pilot we did was there in a very small location, so that to make sure we capture everything that was necessary to make sure that the pilot shows the success that we wanted before go further to other locations. That's why you see even the number of people we trained was quite minimum, because we wanted to focus as the project was a pilot. So this is a dashboard that I was saying that we created using Esri as for a pilot, even though at Esri we have to pay for hosting our data, but our plan is later on to have a physical server that will be at the DarMAERT office, that they can access data without paying for platforms like this. So this is a example. It's a platform that we created. So it shows all this data that were collected and still be collected by communities, evacuation locations and routes and everything. And right now, moving forward, we want the system to have like, an alarming system for them, to give them like alarm, but it doesn't have it now. So we still based on like analysis to the system, but it has shown some success and we are looking forward to do more to it. So we have learned some few stuff doing this. That is community engagement, it strengthens the warning, because the community are the one who knows exactly what it happens and when and who needs help. So that strengthened the pilot that we did regarding the tools that we used, and also the communities as well as, and also L action should not depend on so much expensive tools. As a developing country, we had to rely on what was available in the country, so that to make sure we survive or help the community survive. So we can start with everything that we have. Open source helped us to do this pilot and had showed us some actions that we need to take forward. Also, as key takeaways, as says, communities, everyone should be given an opportunity, because everyone have their own perspectives when it comes to disaster response, and also low tech can be also used to anticipate. I know we have been hearing some technologies in different talks that they're very concrete technologies, but there are simple, even this simple technology can also help in anticipate floodings, while we wait for this technology also to happen in our country, especially for the developing countries. So we should not wait until we have those sophisticated technology. We can even start with the simple technology that is available in our countries to take actions. So luckily enough, we were able to secure a fund, a 2-year project fund, under ZAID Sustainability Prize, which we are going to focus on improving the dashboard and also take L actions in hand, like make sure community get tools to take L actions, get cleaning equipment to take L actions, and also provide much awareness, especially to students and elderly to our community, so that they can take L actions and understand the effect of floodings. And also like do some organizing awareness campaigns and cleanup events to the identified hotspots, so that to make sure we clear some of the blocked drains or waste collection points that are causing the flooding to the community. So we are looking forward to do more of the pilot that we have done. And also we are looking forward to see more actions. As we have done the pilot, it wasn't raining, so it's going to start raining soon. So we are hoping that our pilot is going to start taking some action starting December, I think, because December is the rainy season in our country. So yeah, we're looking forward to do more. And that was the pilot that we did. And if you have any other question, I know I haven't touched everything, just a little bit of it. But if you have any question, you can visit us on our website or call us. And also I have some few flyers about us and our organization that you can lead. And if you have questions, I can take it now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Asha. Any questions for the speaker? No. I have maybe one question related to the OSM data, because as OSM data, everyone knows, is let me do the question first. I mean, it's a crowdsourced, let's say, source of data. it can have some issues with quality. So how do you assess these quality issues with the OpenStreetMap data?
So in Tanzania, OpenMap, we are the huge contributor to the platform in Tanzania. So we have done ground mapping of most of the building in Dar es Salaam to identify the users. And also we have done ground mapping of the roads, of drains. So, and also we have a team that usually validates the data that we have. So we have a team at the office who digitize and validate data most of the time that we use in our daily activities from the platform. So that's how we ensure the quality of data that we use from the OSM.
Thank you. Any question? Yes, you can respond in this one also.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much for a great presentation. I have a question about the strengths of your organization. So as I understand, you are working on early warning system, right? And you are also working on OpenStreetMap data, yes, right? So do you have some idea that if you can, idea that you are working, how your knowledge about OpenStreetMap useful in early warning system? So I mean, I'm curious about, I'm interested in the kind of added value of working on both early warning system and OpenStreetMap.
I think I can answer. My voice is
It's for the people that is listening online.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hi, people. So, as I said, mostly of our work is based on community. So, we usually do what is comfortable with the community for them to use first, because what we do, it's for them. No, okay. I think what we do, it's for them. So as I said, we do community engagement, local people directly. So even the early warning that we use, it's usually like, we haven't started yet, but our intent of the early warning we want to use, it's community-based early warning. Like cost-effective, like we want something that, in our country we have megaphones and whistles. So our aim now is to create a base or center location and put a whistle or silent system. So, and also add some poles at the along the river that can provide alerts to the local leaders, because we have like small unit of local leaders who like try to pass informations to the high above. So usually, if they have information, they call another local leader. So we want them to, once the local leader have information, then they will use a centered silent system to inform the whole neighborhood of the incoming flooding. And also, not only at the flooding location, even in the upstreams, if they see floodings, they can inform the downstreams, and the downstream would activate the alarming system. That's the kind of early warning we want to use, because there was invented early warning from the World Bank, which was electronic and like self-centered, like it was implanted in the uphill and downhill, but they lost track of it, and also it got stolen. So the equipments and everything, so it was no use of it. So, but we found out the community used megaphones as a early warning. So how can we improve from that what they use? So that's the kind of early warning that we are trying to use. And also on OpenStreetMap, the data that we use, as I said before, is usually what we generated ourselves. And also for these dashboards, the data that is on the OpenStreetMap, it's that data that has been downloaded. and then added into the dashboard. So it's not directly live, directly from the OpenStreetMap, but it was downloaded, verified, validated, and then added into the dashboard. So we are still into also, like as I said, the priority, like making sure what are the errors, what can we improve. Also, like even us being here, what are the other tools that we can use other than S3, or what we can improve in order to make sure the pilot that we have done also goes forward. Because maybe later on it might be not S3 or not this dashboard, maybe something else. That's why we're also still exploring and attending workshops like this, just to learn from others what are they doing when it comes to disaster response, so that we can also improve. As I said, as a developing countries, we are not exposed to so much technology. So we are relying to this kind of platform for us to understand how it works outside the world, so that we can also improve.